Well, DMC fans, the time has finally come. I've been waiting way too long for this. 7 long years ago, October 2018 to be exact, the creator and mastermind behind the Castlevania Netflix anime, Adi Shankar, teased that he would be adapting an anime for the critically acclaimed Devil May Cry video game. That's about all we got from him until about a year ago, when people thought he had lost interest, myself included. He decided to release a trailer showing off that he is still working on it and is trying his best to adapt it for the fans and not screw it up. The trailer was very minimal, but the message came through. That's about all we got again, with barely any news on it. But just a few short days ago, we got a full-blown trailer for this anime. So I'm going to go through the trailer and see if I can point out what few things came from the trailer and do my best to predict what might happen within the anime. Now, I've made a few videos on Devil May Cry, so I just had to make a video on this just off principle, so let's get into it. So right off the bat, I have to address this because if I don't, somebody's going to ask. Yes, the voice of Dante is not Ruben Langdon anymore, the titular voice we're all familiar with, and is instead voiced by Johnny Young Bosch. Now, I hate to bring this up because I hate addressing drama, especially any that involves politics, but I also don't like to bring things up unless I know what the hell I'm talking about, which clearly no one on Twitter seems to be capable of doing any research before running their mouths. Now, many people are split on this decision. Some are glad, since they're avid Ruben haters, some are indifferent, and then there are the ones that hate this decision, and for different reasons. Reason one is, Johnny Young Bosch is already the voice of Nero, so it sounds off just a little bit. Or two, they would prefer Ruben to be the voice of Dante. I am in the latter category. Yes, it does suck that Ruben isn't voicing him anymore, but Johnny Young Bosch is a great replacement, assuming my theory is correct as to why they replaced him. Now, I won't linger on this too long, so to make a long story short, the reason why people think Ruben is gone is his Twitter feed. The guy is a conspiracy theorist, and many believe him to be right-wing, though I have my doubts on the latter. Now, I'm not going to say I agree or disagree with him, but what I will do is defend his right to have these views, since it is a free fucking country, and such trivial things shouldn't be a factor if somebody should have a job or not. But also, to debunk this, Johnny Young Bosch himself has confirmed that this is not the case, and that Ruben is still on good terms, and that there is a reason Ruben isn't Dante anymore, but isn't sure what he's allowed to say at this time. So my assumption is that it's story relevant and not because of anything else. Hell, Ruben Langdon and Adi Shankar seem to be on good terms as they follow each other on Twitter, so I doubt there's any malice between them. That's all I'll say on this matter, but even that much made me uncomfortable to even have to bring up. Now, let's actually get into the trailer, and here, I'll point out what things I noticed going through the trailer frame by frame, since usually they tend to overshare in small details without meaning to. Also, keep in mind, my working theory is, if you saw my first teaser trailer breakdown, I believe this anime may be taking place during Dante's Tony Redgrave days, and even going into his later stages of life after leaving that persona behind. I'll explain that more as we go. Starting off, we see a cityscape, which makes me wonder what city we're in, but there's a guy talking about Dante.
This guy... he's something else. The way he moves, the hits he took.
We see Dante riding a motorcycle, as he tends to do, and it looks like New York plates, which makes me wonder how long we'll be spending in New York, and if this is like a DC Comics situation, where there are some cities that are made up, like Redgrave City, and others that are still real, like New York City. On top of all of this, none of the demons in the background look familiar either. Next up, we see Dante going up against some gang, which I think is where we get a look at some anime original storylines. I have some theories on which I'll get into in a sec. This gang seems to be attacking Dante in his shop, which is a can of worms I'll get into later. But he seems to be moving like Dante would, so there's that going for him. Then we transition to him jumping off a plane, which is just fucking bizarre to me, but we'll see how this goes in the show. Then he shoots his way out of a burning building, which could be his shop. This is where I think we get some evidence of Dante looking for a building to use as his headquarters, and maybe his places either keep getting burnt down or getting destroyed by demons. Anyways, next we get some dialogue in the background of him talking to someone.
What kind of work do you do, exactly?
Demon hunting.
Not sure who yet, but others presume it's Lady, but I'll wait until I see it. She asks him what kind of work he does, but this could actually be someone later in the trailer that I'll get into in a second. Anyways, then we see Dante cock his gun, and somebody who seems to be Enzo in the background, who could be Dante's informant broker in the anime, but is his informant broker in the manga. On top of this, he could also be helping Dante look for a building like he did in the light novel. Next, we see some sort of demonic creature. Not sure what it is, but it could be someone from the manga that I'll get into in a second. Then we get the famous jackpot line, which he seems to be shooting at a demon in some sort of alleyway, right next to some blonde chick, again, someone I think may be someone from the manga. We then get him fighting some sort of blue demon thing, and we get the shot from the old teaser. Next, we get a shot of what looks like the echidna from DMC4, which could put a damper on my theory, though it could also just be them using familiar demons for the show. We then get a better shot of Dante's guns, and they are not ebony and ivory. Maybe we'll get them soon, likely by the end of the anime, or whenever they decide the cutoff point between the DMC1 novel and DMC3 manga will be, when Dante gets his pistols from Nell Goldstein. Anyways, Dante smokes this dude in the face, and we move on. From there, we get a shot of what looks like the diner from the old DMC anime, with Dante presumably saving Sydney, which could be the one that was talking to Dante earlier, asking about his job, and foreshadowing him always being at that particular diner. And then we get what is probably the weirdest looking demon so far, and Dante blocking bullets with his sword. We get some action scenes, a Gatling gun, and some explosives, then a brief shot of Dante's eyes being red, which could indicate Dante's demonic power rising, since he doesn't quite have Devil Trigger yet, if my theory is correct. Then the post-trailer reveals the fucking white rabbit from the manga. This is an insane reveal. Like, this seems to be the main focus of the anime, which makes me about 90% sure that I'm right on the money with my theory. About 4 months ago, I did a video with my buddy T. Shaw, and in that video I pointed out how I wanted the anime to be an adaptation of the DMC1 light novel, at least in the first half, and then in the second half, adapting the manga, showing the story of Arkham and Lady. In there, I mentioned the White Rabbit, and man do I feel vindicated. Now, many point out that this could be an alternate continuity, which still is likely, but I still really hope that I'm right. That being said, it makes me wonder if this guy is the Mad Hatter, who is Arkham by the way, and it also makes me wonder if this blonde girl is Alice, another demon meant to trick Dante. Either way, I think it's a whole set of massive coincidences that most references are from older things, which, if my theory is correct, that may make sense why they chose Johnny Young Bosch over Ruben. No offense to Ruben, but he does sound older, and Johnny Young Bosch sounds younger. So if they just chose him because they needed a younger Dante, that's fine. And Johnny Young Bosch has experience with Nero, so I think they could give a time skip and bring back Ruben as an older Dante, or maybe just give us a DMC6 with the old cast. But to finish off this theory, it's confirmed Lady and Virgil will show up, but to what degree for Lady is unknown. But if my theory is correct, the story in the manga is that Virgil wants the power of Sparta, their father, which is locked within the tower called the Tema Negru. To get it to show itself, Virgil must rename 7 demons based off of the 7 deadly sins that Sparta had stripped their names from in order to seal the tower away. It's here where he met Arkham, who knew everything about them, who just so happens, unbeknownst to the whole cast, to have multiple personalities, one of them being Jester, and one being the Mad Hatter. Virgil teams up with Arkham, who disguises himself as Mad Hatter, to lead White Rabbit and Alice, demons who are based off of Alice in Wonderland, to trick Dante into stealing his amulet, which is required to get the Sparta after the tower awakens. So I believe this guy may be the Mad Hatter, and her to be Alice. Plus, Lady does run into Alice for a brief moment, so maybe in future seasons, this anime could be used to bridge the gap between the stories we haven't seen yet, or ones we've only been told. But only time will tell. In the end, we finally get a release date, April 2025, 7 months away. So hopefully when it shows up, it could be what I described here, but it could also just as likely be an entirely new continuity. But some of my Discord buddies seem to either agree with me or hope that it's this way like me. Now, this was a smaller video talking about the anime, but I do have a longer video planned later for a full-blown analysis, as this video was just a surface-level analysis. But what do you guys think? A bit of a smaller video, but there's not too much to get into here. But if there's anything I missed, or anything you guys want to add to the conversation, please leave me all your thoughts in the comments below. If you like this video, please hit the like button, and if you really like this video and want to see more like it, why not hit the subscribe button for more if you guys enjoyed. And hit the notification bell for more videos like this. Also, check out all my socials in the description, as well as checking out my Patreon if you guys want to support me further. And until next time, guys, stay hype, stay awesome, stay weird, and be nice to each other. I'm Cybertech Werewolf, and I'll see you guys next time.